Hey guys, it's David, and this is for Module 4, and as you can tell, I have a cold still. So excuse the sniffles and the coughs and all that stuff, and my weird voice. All right, so look, this is for Module 4, meeting or knowing the people, and I'm going to just call this Everyone Loves a Happy Ending. The whole point of this is that and this applies to Module 2 as well, knowing the craft, because that involves auditioning and so on. And what I'm trying to convey here is that when you have a chance to meet someone and get to know them, some of us have, checkered pasts, not meaning criminal or anything like that, but we have pasts that might be sad or whatever, and have sad stories, or some of us may even have awkward personalities where we're kind of uncomfortable and maybe we feel a little bit sorry for ourselves for whatever's happened to us in our lives. And sometimes when someone asks us a question about, tell me about yourself, we are tempted to tell them the sad stories, tell them how things went wrong and blah, 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 blah. And it's understandable and it's human nature to want to say those things about us because it's kind of our excuse for certain behavior and explain certain things about us. And I have to say that while, yes, you have the right to say those things, that it's probably not a good idea to say those things because it may interfere in your long-term goals. Because people get uncomfortable when they hear other people's plights. It's fine to hear the story, the sad story, but they want to hear the redemption at the end. They don't want to just hear that I'm really, my parents died in a plane crash and I'm still suffering the traumatic effects of it. They want to hear your parents died in a plane crash, but despite that, I know they would want me to have the best possible life. And so that is what I've decided to do. And that's why I'm pursuing acting. That's what they want to hear. Everybody loves a happy ending. And I basically came up with this idea because I've been watching, I was watching Anderson Cooper, his show, cause I'm kind of I guess I watch certain talk shows until somebody just does something or says something that just makes me roll my eyes. But right now I'm a bit of an Anderson Cooper fan. And anyway, it's just, and this applies to all these talk shows. They bring people on because they've suffered through some huge injustice, and yet they have a story of redemption on the other side. Sometimes there is no story of redemption. And I think when you hear that someone has suffered something and yet they've come out and they haven't really learned anything, or they just got themselves into trouble through their own naivete. I don't want to say stupidity, even though that's my instinct, because we all have common sense, and yet we don't listen to the common sense because we have fantasies of how we wish life would be, even though we know it's not true. Like I guess I'm going to have to spill my guts here. So we're watching an episode of Anderson Cooper. It's about divorces and prenuptial agreements. And this woman, there were so many signals that her husband was going to pull a fast one on her, and she refused to see them because she didn't want to upset the apple cart. Oh, he said, I want you to sign a prenup. Even though her father had helped him with his businesses and let him invest in the father's businesses to make money off them, this guy wanted her to sign a prenup, even though half of his money came from the fact that he knew her father. And she signed it, and he said, and don't tell your family about it because I don't want your dad not to like me for making you sign a prenup. And so she didn't tell her father. And then she even goes in front of a lawyer with the lawyer who was recommended by the father. And the lawyer said, I wouldn't let my daughter sign this. I would never sign this. Your husband's a bad guy. And no matter who told her what, she wouldn't listen. Okay, so here she is on Anderson Cooper telling her all,